Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by Pete's Garage. Let's continue on with our 427 build. We'll put the trunk lid on. Now before we put the trunk lid on, I want to show you the hood hinges because the hood hinges are a little different. The hood hinges in front here, first of all, they just bolt to the hood like that. And then underneath, they bolt to this cross member. And those vertical pieces there are adjustable, so you can adjust up and down, right like that. And that crossbar is mounted to the frame. You can see up underneath here, these screws go in and adjust up and down, so the hood can adjust up and down there. And then the forward and backward adjustment is how this bracket goes onto the frame. Now that's supposed to be bolted, but I welded it in place. And the unique thing about this is that makes the hood completely independent from the body. So the hood is not bolted to the body, it's bolted to the frame, which makes the alignment difficult, which is why I welded this, because once it's in place, if I put this back in place and I put the body back in the same spot, the hood theoretically should end up in the same spot. Then I do have some adjustments up and down and in and out with the hood with these adjusters here. The rear trunk lid will have a similar stay like this, trunk stay, and this just operates by lifting it up and it goes down like that. But you can see the hood is independent of the body, but it does line up pretty good. So when I open up the hood like that and you lock the stay, it just clicks in like that, makes the hood stay up. But that's how the hood hinge works. It's not too bad, but it's a little tough for adjusting, but once you get it in place, it seems to be pretty solid. Now let's go work on the trunk. Well, first like anything, you go to the instructions and it says to bolt the hinges to the deck lid, which I did, or the trunk lid, which is pretty simple there, just drilling and tapping holes. Now the hinges. This is all they tell you about mounting hinges, right here. How to mount them, where to mount them, some dimensions. Really nothing exciting there. They want you to put some bolts through there. I'm going to use riv nuts instead. But not very helpful. Now let me show you what I did and what happened there. So I followed the instructions, made the measurements, put the hinge in, and I ended up, this is like hitting the top right here, and it has to go up a little further. So the holes I drilled per what they said are a little off location. It's going to have to go up a little higher, which is going to be difficult to do. Not only that, you can see that you have the shape of the top of the body goes like that. So when I put this in there, I have to go up a little bit higher, which means this outside part of that, I have to take some more off of that on the outside, because I got to get about another 1/8 of an inch up. And that's on both sides. This side and this side. I have it all the way up. You see, if I have it all the way up, even those holes don't line up, so I'll have to make new holes. And I got to take some off the outside of this one. So I got to trim those down first, then we can try and put them in again. start with just 2 riv nuts in each hinge. We'll see how the alignment is. So after screwing around for about a half an hour, this is the absolute best I could get it to fit. I got the gap straight here, flush on the top, and it's not perfect flush, so that'll take some body work. But the body lines you see here narrow down on both sides. Body line narrows down here, and here's the problem. We're kind of flush up here, then the gap gets a little iffy there. And then it's kind of lined up here. I have a piece of foam in here to simulate weather stripping. And this is still going to have to be built up here because you see there's a lip all the way around there. That gap. And on this side, the body line is really pretty high. So it's going to take some body work to straighten this out. I'm thinking like a big plane that down, get it flat as possible. And then do some extra body work. That's the best it's going to fit. And now the trunk prop or the trunk stay doesn't even show this in the instructions, so I have no idea, but based on how the one went on the hood, I'm going to assume it goes somewhere let's see. Somewhere in this area. Something like that, little bracket here. So I'll guess and say somewhere around here. Let's give it a try. Let's see how good of a guess that was. Oh, there we go. Okay, it works really well. Now if you're building this, I'll put some measurements on there. This bracket ended up being 3 inches from the floor of the trunk and 3 3/4 back from the front. And this one, the front of the bracket is 15.5 inches from the front lip of the trunk, about 15.5 inches right there. I'll just give it another try here. That works pretty good. Opens up and holds the trunk pretty good. Now I used riv nuts there. If you're looking to buy riv nuts, you can buy a bag. These are 1/4 20 riv nuts, but you can buy them in all different sizes. This is a 1/4 20 riv nut. You can buy a bag of them on Summit Racing for like $7-8. You get a whole bag, you use them all throughout your entire project. Well, I'm so happy I finally got that trunk lid on. It's been a pain. What a nightmare it is to put that on. Next, we're going to put the latch in, and I'm not going to do that in this video. I'm going to save it for another video because I don't like the way they have it mounted, and I don't like the way the trunk latches, so I'm going to engineer something a little different, make it look a little cleaner, make it work a little nicer, and I'll show you that in the next video. Now, if you haven't already, click on the subscribe button here, and you can follow along with this series if you are following along with it. And there's a little bell down by the subscribe button on the video. If you click on that bell, you'll get a notification every time I upload a video. Thanks for stopping by Pete's Garage.